My fiancée cheated at her bachelorette with her ex. She said, "Don't cancel the wedding. It was just a mistake," then tried to pin her baby on me, until the paternity test exposed everything. I'm 34, and up until last year, I thought I had everything lined up the way it was supposed to be. I was engaged to Claire, 27. We'd been together for almost 4 years, living together for the last 2. Things felt steady, or at least that's what I told myself. We had a summer wedding booked, deposits paid, families involved, invitations already sent out. It was supposed to be the happiest time of my life. 3 weeks before the wedding, Claire flew out with her bridesmaids for a bachelorette trip to Miami. To be honest, I wasn't thrilled. Miami doesn't exactly scream quiet girls weekend. And what made it worse was knowing her ex, Kyle, was still loosely tied to her friend group. He wasn't part of the official trip, but I'd heard whispers he'd been invited to some kind of after-party. I brought it up calmly, asked her why he was still even in the picture at all, let alone anywhere near her bachelorette. Claire rolled her eyes, called me insecure, and told me it was just girls having fun. She flipped it around, saying I was trying to control her. Against every gut feeling I had, I let it go. I told myself I trusted her, that this was just wedding stress making me paranoid. While she was gone, things fell off right away. The first night, around 1 a.m., I got a drunken, "I love you" text. The kind that feels sweet at first glance, but doesn't sit right when you realize it's followed by complete silence for 2 days. No good morning texts, no calls, no random updates about what they were doing. Just nothing. When she finally got back, I tried not to push. But something was different. She was distant, barely making eye contact, always glued to her phone. Every explanation was short. "I'm tired. It was a lot. I need to catch up on sleep." I chalked it up to post-trip exhaustion. Still, there was a knot in my chest I couldn't shake. Then came the moment that changed everything. A week later, Claire had some of her bridesmaids over. I was in the kitchen, grabbing a drink, when I heard her maid of honor laughing. Loud, careless laughter. Then I caught the words that froze me in place. "I still can't believe you actually hooked up with Kyle. On your bachelorette. You're insane." The sound of that sentence hit me like a train. I didn't move at first. Just stood there, gripping the counter. Part of me hoped I misheard. But then I heard Claire's voice, urgent and panicked. "Shut up. Don't say that here." The laughter died, replaced by silence. I stepped into the living room. The way the energy shifted told me everything before I even spoke. The room went dead quiet. The bridesmaid looked like she'd seen a ghost. Claire's face went pale. She couldn't even look at me. I asked, flat and direct, "Is that true?" She opened her mouth, closed it, then finally muttered, "It's not what you think." I didn't shout, didn't throw anything. I just stood there, waiting, while she fell apart under the weight of her own secret. That was the moment I realized the wedding wasn't happening. When I asked her directly if it was true, Claire broke down almost immediately. The tears came fast, like she thought if she cried hard enough, it would erase what she had done. She kept repeating, "I was drunk. It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything." Her maid of honor sat frozen on the couch, realizing she had just let the truth slip. No one said another word. It was just Claire sobbing and trying to pull at my sleeve like that would make me stay. She kept saying things like, "Please, don't cancel the wedding. It was just one night. I've never done anything like this before." She wanted me to believe it was a slip, a lapse in judgment. But to me, it didn't matter whether it was one night or 10. She crossed a line you don't come back from. I told her I needed time to think, but deep down, I already knew. The wedding was off. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just went quiet, and that scared her more than if I'd exploded. For the next few days, we barely spoke. I started calling venues and vendors, slowly undoing the plans we had spent months putting together. It felt like unraveling a life before it even started. Claire, meanwhile, acted like she could still fix it. Little apologies slipped into casual conversation, her trying to hold my hand, suggesting counseling. But the distance between us had already set in. Then came the curveball. About 3 weeks later, she sat me down with this dramatic seriousness. I braced myself, but nothing could have prepared me for her saying, "I'm pregnant." For a moment, I couldn't even process it. She rushed to fill the silence, insisting it had to be mine. She reminded me that we had been together the week before Miami, almost as if she had rehearsed the timeline in her head. But my gut told me otherwise. I didn't accuse her right away, I just said I'd support her if a paternity test confirmed it. That was all. No screaming, no blame, just a condition. Her reaction said everything. She snapped. She called me cold, heartless, even cruel. She stormed out. Then within hours the smear campaign started. Her mother called me first, her voice filled with disgust. How could you even question it? A real man steps up for his fiancée, an unborn child. Then her friends joined in, leaving little digs on social media. Things like some men can't handle responsibility, and funny how people show their true colors when things get hard. And Claire? She went all in. She posted ultrasound photos on Instagram with captions like, "Even if I have to do this alone, my baby will always know they were loved." To everyone watching, I was suddenly the villain who abandoned his pregnant fiancée. I had people messaging me, accusing me of running away. Meanwhile, I was just sitting with the quiet knowledge that this child might not even be mine. She weaponized sympathy, painting herself as this betrayed, abandoned mother-to-be. What her followers didn't see was the reality. The one person she didn't want to face was me, because I wasn't going to blindly accept her story. At that point, I realized she wasn't just trying to save the relationship. She was trying to trap me. The smear campaign didn't slow down. If anything, it escalated. Claire's friends took it upon themselves to make vague posts online, the kind clearly aimed at me without naming me. Things like, "Some men talk about love but run the second it requires effort," or "Real partners don't walk away when things get tough." I didn't respond. I didn't even defend myself. People can believe whatever they want. The truth always has a way of surfacing. Claire, meanwhile, doubled down. She plastered ultrasound photos everywhere, writing long captions about how strong she was, how she would raise this child, with or without anyone's help. Her followers ate it up. Comments flooded in. "You've got this, mama, and he doesn't deserve you." But behind the Instagram filters and quotes about resilience, reality was very different. Kyle, the ex she hooked up with in Miami, was already pulling away. He had a girlfriend who found out what happened that night, and from what I later learned, she gave him an ultimatum: stay with her or lose her. Kyle chose her. That meant Claire was suddenly on her own, and I was the safe, stable option she tried to corner into fatherhood. I knew what I had to do. Through my lawyer, I demanded a prenatal paternity test. It wasn't negotiable: no test, no involvement. At first, she refused, threatening legal action, screaming that I was abandoning my child. But her threats didn't work. Eventually, she agreed, probably convinced she could manipulate her way through it. The day the results came back, I already knew what they'd say. Still, seeing it in black and white carried its own kind of weight. 0% probability of paternity. It was definitive. No gray area. No maybe. The child wasn't mine. Holding that piece of paper was both devastating and freeing. Devastating because it confirmed the betrayal in the most concrete way possible. Freeing because now I had the proof, and nobody could call me a liar again. I didn't keep it to myself. I shared the results with her family, because at that point, they deserved to know the truth too. Claire's carefully built facade started to crumble the second those results were out. When I showed Claire's family the results, the reaction was instant. Her father didn't yell. He just sat there quietly, staring at the paper, then at her. Finally, he told her to pack her things and move out of my apartment. He had suspected something was off, but hadn't wanted to believe it. Now there was no denying it. Her mother, on the other hand, broke down in tears. She had been one of Claire's loudest defenders, calling me heartless for even suggesting a test. Seeing proof that her daughter had lied not just to me, but to everyone was too much. She cried and kept saying, "How could you do this, Claire? How could you?" As for her friends, the ones who had been attacking me online suddenly went silent. No apologies, no explanations, just silence. They disappeared the moment they realized the story they'd been defending wasn't true. Claire, though, wasn't ready to accept reality. She screamed that the test was wrong, demanded a retest, insisted there had to be a mistake. She begged, pleaded, and when that didn't work, she turned to anger. She accused me of trying to ruin her life. But it wasn't me who had done that. Not long after, I got a message from someone unexpected, Kyle's girlfriend. She sent me screenshots of Claire blowing up Kyle's phone, begging him to step up and be a man. The messages were desperate, full of panic. His responses were cold and final. "Stop contacting me. It was a mistake. Don't drag me into this." Reading those words, I realized just how far Claire had fallen. The man she gambled our entire relationship on wanted nothing to do with her. He was too busy patching things up with his girlfriend to even acknowledge her. Meanwhile, Claire's perfect little story, the one she'd been pushing on social media, was cracking. People started whispering. Friends of friends asked me what really happened. I didn't have to embellish. I just told them the truth. The paper with 0% written on it did the rest. At that point, there was no saving face for her. But the real collapse was still to come. Once the truth about the paternity test spread, Claire's life unraveled quickly. The narrative she had built online, the abandoned single mom, the innocent victim of a cold-hearted fiancé, couldn't survive against hard proof. People who had cheered her on started asking uncomfortable questions. It didn't take long before someone uncovered the GoFundMe she had set up quietly, titled, "Help a Single Mom-to-Be Start Fresh." Donations had trickled in from friends, distant relatives, and even some of her social media followers. But when word spread that the baby wasn't mine and that she had lied about me abandoning her, the same people who donated started demanding refunds. Some even posted publicly, calling her a scammer. Her Instagram, once full of supportive comments, turned hostile. Sponsorship deals she had been trying to land dried up overnight. Instead of sympathy, her posts about strength and resilience were flooded with sarcastic remarks. It was brutal, but she had built the stage for it herself. Meanwhile, the wedding was officially off. Guests who had booked flights and hotels for what was supposed to be our big day wanted answers. Some reached out to me directly, and I told them the truth. Claire's family had to face their own humiliation. Her father was livid about the money wasted, her mother was ashamed, and even her bridesmaids started distancing themselves once Claire tried to blame them for exposing her secret. The maid of honor, the one whose slip-up had started it all, cut ties completely. I moved out of the apartment first, since it had been under my name, and I wasn't about to share a roof with her any longer. Claire went back to living with her parents. The house that once felt like a place where we were building a future now just felt like a reminder of what I'd narrowly escaped. Fast forward a year, and things couldn't be more different. I got promoted, bought a condo of my own, and started dating again. This time, with someone who values honesty above everything else. It feels different in the best way: steady, calm, no games. As for Claire, the last I heard, she had the baby, but Kyle never stepped up. She's still living at her parents' place. Every now and then, I stumble across one of her social media posts, usually a vague quote about betrayal, resilience, or how some people will regret losing you. But the likes and comments that once flooded in are gone. The people who defended her moved on a long time ago. Looking back, I can honestly say she did me a favor. If I hadn't overheard that slip-up from her friend, I might have gone through with the wedding, tied myself legally and financially to her, and ended up raising another man's child without ever knowing the truth. Instead, I got out clean. I didn't get the future I thought I wanted, but I got something better: freedom, clarity, and a chance to build a life with someone who won't betray me the moment temptation shows up. Claire got the opposite, the consequences of her own choices. And while part of me still feels sorry for the child caught in the middle, I can't feel sorry for her. She made her bed. Sometimes, the truth really does set you free. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.